some significance of the both dimensional kind. You enter a realm of spirit, of sight and sound and mind. Your radio is a cosmic doorway and your psyche begins to spark. When you tune in to Gary Anderson and Night Dreams After Dark.
If you would like to hear Night Dreams Talk Radio on your local radio station, let them know. Tell them to check out www.nightdreamstalkradio.com, and thank you.
Night Dreams Talk Radio Network brings you the World Paranormal News with James Creechbaum. Now, the latest news.
I'm James Creechbaum with the Paranormal and World Changes News. Volcano off the Oregon coast predicted to erupt between 2020 and 2024. Now, many Oregonians, they have many volcanoes like Mount Hood, Mount Adams, Mount St. Helens. However, the volcano Axel Seamont, a huge underwater volcano 300 miles off the coast of Oregon, scientists have now been studying for the last few years, and they've 3D mapped the volcano in all its glorious detail. And now they are predicting that sometime between 2020 and 2024, it may erupt. Also, do you believe in UFOs? Well, people say they saw one again near Sebastian, Florida. It's not the first time it's been reported there, and it's been reported a few times. And this time it's not a drone or an airplane or a flare. The latest UFO sighting occurred when a man in Cocoa observed a fast-moving light at approximately 7:30 a.m., and it's slowing down and accelerated towards Sebastian. All witnesses say there was no sound. Also, NASA studies why equipment mysteriously goes haywire near the poles. Apparently, this has been going on for some time, and now they're trying to figure out and study it to come up with an answer. Why is all of their instruments having equipment and electronic failure anytime they get near the poles? Several theories out there, but nothing concrete yet. Also, nuclear missile silo for sale in Arizona. Yes, if you're looking for a nuclear missile silo, there's one in Arizona for sale. And it's got a pretty reasonable price tag, it says, at $400,000. Also, quantum physicist confesses to meeting extraterrestrials. Quantum computing research Deep Prasad has come forward with a rather exciting story about his involvement with extraterrestrials. And there's further information coming out about this, but apparently 3 entities that came to his bedroom and he could not move, and that was his experience. There's more to it, I'm sure, but he doesn't go into too much of it right now, other than he did have an experience with 3 entities that came to his room. Sounds pretty scary. Also, Bigfoot chases a car in a video which emerges in Russia. Footage showing a car being pursued by an unknown creature has been doing its rounds. And the video has just came out, but it is very, I don't know, again, you have to see it for yourself to decide. Also, new dinosaur species discovered in Lebanon. This new dinosaur species has just been discovered, and the species is that of some kind of plesiosaur, which was a type of large flying reptilian that is believed to have been first vertebrate to fly. Next next newscast tomorrow night.
You're listening to my friend Gary Anderson on Night Dreams Talk Radio, the best in paranormal radio.
Well, we try to be, not the best, but we are on radio. That's all I can say. Well, thank you, John, for your nice intro. We're talking with William Pullin. We're talking about UFOs. It's 9:04 here, Pacific West Coast time. What time is it where you're at, William?
I am 2 hours ahead of you.
Okay.
So it's about 11 left or 11 o'clock by time.
Oh, wow. How much time a week do you put into what you do?
Probably about 4 hours a day, average. I'm kind of semi-retired, so I have a lot of time on my hands. So I'm in a situation where, when you're a single individual, your house is paid for and you're retired, you have a lot of time on your hands. So I'm lucky to be in that situation. So I guess about 4 hours, and a lot of it is looking at old journals, looking at documentation, trying to decipher some patterns from some of the sighting cases that I've collected over the years, whether here in town or in the greater San Antonio area. It's a never-ending process because but the data you collect can lead you in certain directions. But the lack of data is always a problem. Going back to most sightings not being reported, you kind of have to work with what you have and go from there. So, I guess I read probably about a book a month from another author to get their perspective. And a lot of times I'll look at the footnotes of that book and backtrack those footnotes and go back to the information and examine things in the past and go forward from there. But I kind of combine that with a lot of examining of cases I've collected as of late and draw some conclusions from that. So it's a never-ending process. And then writing on my blog page and doing the program with Nicole every week, it keeps me pretty busy.
Now, what day of the week is it on Facebook, or is it on YouTube also, or just Facebook? And what day of the week and time?
Oh, we've discussed YouTube at length, so we've yet to come to a conclusion or decision about that. So, no, it's entitled UFO'S, a Grounded Commentary. It's every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central Time. It appears as a live broadcast on my Facebook blog page entitled William Pullin UFO Historian. It's on every Wednesday, and most people listen to the program after the fact, after it's live. We share it on a bunch of groups to the public after we go off the air, and usually it's about an hour-long program. We pick a topic every day, every week, I should say, and discuss something at length. And we have enough listeners that listen live, they contribute their comments and ideas to the program, so it really gets a good conversation going. So, but every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central Time.
Oh, wow. What type of comments do you generally get? I mean, when you're talking about UFOs, do you get many people just come out and drop, hey, I saw a UFO and start talking about it, or what? Or they just ask questions?
Occasionally do. Occasionally, we like last week we had more of a exercise in speculation. We didn't really examine a case. We just discussed different possibilities, different theories to explain the UFO topic that have been thrown out there over the decades. And so it was really just an opinion-based show. And we had a lot of commentary from people that had different opinions about one case or another or some potentialities, and just went from there. So it was a really good conversation. When you discuss a case or an individual, especially a case, you're discussing more about actual facts and figures, times, dates, individuals' names. A little more precise data is needed. So in that case, it's still kind of opinion-based, because you present a case on the air, and everyone's going to have a different take as to what the ultimate explanation is. And since so many cases are not, let's say, definitively solved per se, there's always possibilities that one or more of us may be wrong. So it's always a good conversation. But every so often, somebody will discuss a sighting they had. We had a couple of those last week's program. But usually it's just a commentary on what we're discussing that evening. So it's a good conversation.
Now, I got to ask you a question. Since you mentioned, if I didn't misunderstand you, that you never seen a UFO yourself.
No, I've never experienced anything anomalous. No, nothing UFO related, nothing paranormal, period. So, which gets me some grief in the UFO community. I get a lot of pushback about that. There seems to be this school of thought that if you haven't experienced a UFO event yourself, you have no point of view, which is interesting because that would mean that Stanton Friedman doesn't have a point of view. And Stanton Friedman was an accomplished researcher. So as an objective researcher, it was someone who maintains no bias. Whether you have a personal experience or not that's UFO related, that really has no bearing on your ability to examine the problem, your ability to examine the data and look at what's going on and find out what's going on and what's not going on. So, but I do get a lot of pushback about having never experienced anything. But that's just the way it is. I mean, you're not going to please everybody. So, on one hand, I would love to see UFO. I would love to see something truly anomalous with my own eyes to gain that perspective. But I'm afraid if I did, I might lose my objectivity because it would become a very personal thing. I would have personally experienced it. So I'm leery about wanting to see UFO if that sounds strange. It probably does.
Well, I can see it. Anybody ever accuse you of being a debunker then, since you haven't seen one?
Yeah, I was just called a debunker. Friday evening, I was hosting a public meet and greet here in San Antonio, and an individual, and he wasn't being mean-spirited about it. He called me a debunker because I'm skeptical, and he had misused the term. He corrected himself like a second later and said, "No, I'm sorry, you're a skeptic," because the term debunker and skeptic mean two different things. But in the UFO community, the meanings have become kind of blurred.
Oh yeah,
yeah, very much so. But no, I'm simply skeptical. I know that most of these things, 90 to 95%, are explainable by mundane phenomenon. I'm interested in the 5% that are unexplained. Those are fascinating to me. But a debunker has their mind made up. We're talking someone like Philip Klass, which is that's not a researcher at all. So, and I always get asked, what are your position? What do you believe in? And this, that, and the other. And I tell people, my personal position is that alien visitation has occurred. Abductions have occurred. I don't think they're as commonplace as what's believed in the UFO community, but I think they have occurred. So I just cautiously move forward from that point of view and not embrace everything until I don't really take up a position until actually I've examined what's being put forth instead of making my mind up too soon. I'm just very cautious in that way. So, but again, that's my own personal approach.
Well, William, where I'm confused, and James knows this when I started saying this, is that, all the years, and we're going back a couple thousand years, the cattle mutilation, human mutilations, the abductions, and all this stuff, if